Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast. We're back with another one. What's going on, fellas? DT, Just Jerry. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, fellas, for sure.
Happy Friday. Hey, DT, are you still with us?
Oh, man. Looks like I'm here, brother. Hey, best friend. Glad to see you here, friend.
Hey, Ben, I'm already signed, sealed, and delivered, so you ain't gonna ask me. You know
I'm never gonna ask you, bro.
My contract good. You ain't gonna worry about mine. We good. We good. Fellas, listen. We want to talk to you guys. Say an H.G.R.G student asked us, how could you utilize a HELOC for real estate? So we want to jump into that with you guys. I know we touch on this a lot. You know, we go live every Thursday and Sunday on Instagram. You can find us here on YouTube, of course, you know, and that information's out here. But we want to be a little more specific on this, right? So we want to kind of dive in on it and show you how to utilize a HELOC to go ahead and gain more money in real estate for you and your family. You know, so we're going to get into that. DT, Just Jerry, I know you definitely have some history with HELOCs. I do myself as well. That's how I got into it, you know. So with that being said, DT, what exactly is a HELOC, first and foremost?
Home equity line of credit. What do you do? Well, home equity line of credit is what a HELOC stands for. Basically, if you have equity in your property, you go to a bank and they will loan you money against the appraised value of the property. Some banks will loan you 85%. And again, this is primary residence. Pretty important for that. 85% to up to 100% of loan to value. So easy math, if your house is worth $1 million and you want to borrow, you know, a home equity line of credit, they give you 85%, you only get the $850,000. They give you 100%, you get $1 million. And then with that HELOC, obviously, if there's a mortgage owed, you have to pay that mortgage off first. And then the rest of the funds, you could do really what you want to do with it. You know, you don't have to purchase real estate with it. You could pay off debt, take a kid to school, take a vacation. You do whatever you want with the money. But the topic here is how do you use it to excel your real estate portfolio, or how do you use it to catapult you from where you are to where you want to go, right? That's what we were hitting on. So to answer your question, that's what HELOC is. Gotcha.
And also in his example is they're going to pay off your mortgage first, and then you get the rest. So if the mortgage on that property is $650,000 left, and you're getting $850,000, you will walk with $200,000. All right, they're going to take care of that mortgage first, and then you get the remainder of that. And
obviously, your payment now goes up because you borrowed.
That's correct. Correct. Your payment will be of an $850,000 mortgage,
and it's typically a point or two higher in interest as well. So
absolutely. So average is about 8.4 to 9.1.
Yeah.
On the HELOC
at the moment.
Right now.
At the moment.
Right. So now you're sitting here, and yes, you have a higher mortgage. You know, it's a point higher on the interest rate and whatnot. But now you got $200,000, right? So now you got $200,000. You want to get into real estate.
I don't know if you touched on it, but we pay them back when? When do we pay these guys back?
Yeah, when you utilize the money. So, and that's a great point. So you could have that $200,000 sitting there, and you don't have to touch it. The payments don't start until you actually pull it out and utilize that money. It's not like a loan. Once you get that money given to you from a loan, payments automatically. A HELOC, they have to wait for you to utilize the funds, and it's based off how much you use. So you only may use 100,000. So then your payments will be based off 100,000. You want to use the whole 2, obviously the payments would be different, but that doesn't start until you utilize it, right? So you can actually take your time, find the right property, or find the right deal, and then go ahead and attack. So that's a great point.
Great
right?
point.
So now you got this money.
Hold on
Go
one
ahead.
second.
Go
Also,
ahead.
keep in mind, it's a line of credit, right? So it's something that you can use over and over and over if you pay it off, right? It's not just a one-time deal. As long as you live in that property, and again, I emphasize for primary residents predominantly, and as long as you live in that property, you can continuously reuse that line of credit. So if you borrow the whole entire amount and you pay it off within the 10-year frame or whatever, you could reborrow that same money all over again without having to renew the loan, because it's a line of credit for you. Right. And there's another product that they have that's a loan, a home equity loan. Right. So if you're going to go utilize this, you want to make sure you're applying for the line of credit. Loan.
And that's the best beauty thing of it. That's a cheat code. You can always use that money. You pay it back, you use it again, pay it back, you use it again. And this is all in real estate that we're using. We're talking using real estate money to you get more real estate.
You can get that money out fast. A home equity line of credit can be done in like a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's quick. It's quick.
Absolutely.
It's quick. When I did it, it was quick. So now you got 200,000. Now you're feeling yourself. You want to be a real estate investor, right? So what exactly we doing with this 200,000? So I got 200,000. I want to be a real estate investor. I'm not seasoned at all, but now I got 200 grand to play with.
Yeah.
What's my next step?
Well,
I got the money.
You make a call to H.G.R.G.
You make a call to H.G.R.G. You pay business on HGRG.club.
Yeah, you pay that fee first, and then we move forward for you.
Yeah.
So you don't know H.G.R.G. Never heard of him. I don't know how you could not, but you never heard of him.
Yeah.
What do I do? What do I do with this money? I got 200 grand. What am I doing here?
Depending on the person, obviously there's
multiple
ways to skin the cat. Some people may say I'm gonna go into flipping properties. Some may say that I'm gonna go buy and hold. Some will say I'm gonna partner up and do some rehabs or whatever that looks like. But if you're asking H.G.R.G. what our opinion is, I probably would dabble in a couple different places, but I definitely would try to consider to purchase a portfolio if I could. Multiple, doubles, singles, triples, quads, whatever that looks like. If I'm trying to get into real estate, I would really try to just maximize the units, the amount of units that I can buy.
Right. So 200.
Well, what's hold on, wait 1 second. I'm new to this, right? I'm watching. I don't know real estate like that. You said a portfolio. Cool. What do you mean portfolio? What is that? Just Jerry. What do you mean portfolio?
There's multiple. So there's a let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses, and somebody owns a portfolio. Portfolio is the group of houses that he has, and that he has percentage on. Not percentage. Sorry, I'm sick. Sorry. Let's go back. We're gonna cut this out. And now, so a portfolio is where somebody could purchase all their homes. So one person has 7, 8 homes, 8 properties. You could buy the portfolio. You could buy all 8 properties.
And so you could treat it like one deal, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Okay. So I have 7, 8 properties. So instead of individually DT, I can treat it like one deal, one transaction.
Yep, you do a commercial loan, a blanket loan, and that's how you capitalize on that. Typically, it's about 25% down on a commercial loan like that, a blanket loan. But you do all the closings at once. Most of the time, the person that if you're going to buy a portfolio, most of the portfolio transactions are owned by one entity or LLC or business or corporation. There are times where you could buy multiple property packages from, I'd say multiple owners and just all close on the same day. That's very, very hard to do, but
that's rare. But
it's also a strategy as well, because if you're buying from, somebody you work with or somebody and they're willing to work with you, and you could pull that off. But if you're buying from absolute strangers who are just trying to close out their property and be done with it, it's real tough to coordinate that. But so to Jerry's point, excuse me, portfolios when, Lance owns, Jerry owns 30 properties. They want to take their talents to South Beach and Danny wants to buy them. Danny makes an offer for the 30 properties. They accept it. Now I go get a commercial blanket loan to do so. And I just purchase their portfolio. Obviously, typically when you buy a portfolio, most of the time if there's 30 properties, you're going to probably have 15, 20 decent, good ones. You're going to probably have 5 or 10 terrible ones and then 2 or 3 in betweens. That's why they're selling them as portfolio, to get rid of the bad ones and, kind of maximize their return. Once in a while, you'll get a portfolio that's pretty clean, but you're going to pay top dollar for it. And then there's also the portfolios that you buy that you don't have, the seller doesn't have a choice because of the type of lending they got. When they bought a portfolio, they purchased it with a mortgage that they can't sell one without selling all, right? So something you want to pay attention to. So when you see on the multiple listings, the MLS, when people send them to you and it says property will be packaged with XYZ properties, can't separate, owners not willing to separate, probably because the mortgage product that they originally got was they bought 10, 15 houses in a blanket mortgage, but they cannot separate them without paying like an astronomical penalty.
Yeah.
To separate them. So just things to be aware of, but portfolios are definitely dope. Definitely dope.
So that's how you can utilize a big payment there, right? So excuse me, or a lump sum that you got from your HELOC.
My question would be 200,000. What is that in real estate?
Down payment wise is $1 million, but with closing costs and stuff like that, you're probably closer to 1.5. Excuse me, you're closer to 750,000.
So you have 200,000. You could buy $750,000 worth of real estate.
Almost quadruple.
And now, what happens after that?
Then now you have
you still have a loan.
You still got that $200K loan. Well, you got the whatever your HELOC amount was because you were left over with $200K.
Correct.
So you have that payment, right? Then now you have the new mortgage payment for the $750,000, right? And these properties ideally are going to be paying all of that, plus you should be receiving some profit in return.
Right. And what would you do with that?
Now your net worth goes up, and now you can leverage those properties to now go purchase and just keep rolling. Because now you're not just a business, but you're legit. You got paperwork to show for it. You're showing substantial income, as you should be. Assumingly, you're showing substantial income. A portfolio of 750,000, depending on your market. I mean, that could be 10 properties, 15 properties. You know what I mean? And in one portfolio. So if you averaged out $200 to $300 a unit, on 15 properties, you could be upwards of $10,000 a month, which most people don't make that in their W-2. So now you could take that $10,000 in income and it increases your DTI. So when you go to now reinvest for your second or third, property, though, let's be clear, you're going to need a couple of years of tax returns to prove these income amounts, right? So I want to make sure we're clear with that. It just changes the game. You're leveling up. You're changing your tax bracket. When you go to a bank, you have respectable numbers. You have 10 properties. Your business is in order. So they're willing to finance you more. Like I always say this all the time. There's no other business in the world that the bank is willing to finance for you for 5 to 10 to 25% down for 30 years.
Yeah.
You can't go open a store. You can't go open a barbershop, a liquor store, grocery store, car shop. You can't do none of that where the bank is going to finance you for 30 years. They do short-term loans and business lending. But for mortgages, it's 30 years with minimum down. So always take that in mind.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. So you like I said, man, you have a HELOC where you have a lump sum. You can really utilize it to make more money. And now I was thinking to myself, I was always trying to think from like the viewer's point of view, right? What questions would they ask? And they go, well, okay, well, now I have a new mortgage. Now I have the HELOC payment. And now, obviously, I bought a portfolio, but that comes with cost too, right? And that's going to come with a monthly payment as well. But here's the thing. Remember what we said. $650 was your mortgage before, $850 now. Your mortgage went up, but you were still paying for a $650 mortgage, right? So you cannot use that whole mortgage as a bill. Right, as an expense, because you are already paying that $650. So don't start selling yourself short and going, well, now I got I got 3 bills to pay, when really one of those bills you're already paying for the most part, right? And yeah, you went up 200,000, but I mean, it's not going to be super significant or life changing where you feel like you shouldn't use the HELOC or do a HELOC, right? So you just keep that in mind, because we're always trying to think like you guys and where you guys would come from. So I hope that answers the question if anybody was thinking like that, right?
Good point.
So
What other things you do? What I mean, and I'm saying this out loud, just knee jerk.
Yeah, it's a podcast. Go ahead. You can speak out loud. It's fine.
What other business or investment can you make that you purchase something, you spend some money on something, and in return, in sometimes 2, 3, 4, let's say 10 years, you can have hundreds of $1,000s in equity that you can now take out of that purchase or that investment and reutilize it to do whatever you want with it. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, if you played in stocks and market and stuff like that, and you're super strategic and you're lit with it, but you got to invest a lot to make 200,000 in 10 years. But is there anything else that you guys could think of that's even a possibility?
But you say 10 years. I mean, if we're taking real life and what has happened in real life, right? And you bought a property 2-3 years before COVID, you probably have a lot of equity in your home right now.
I'm a prime example of that. I purchased my primary residence in 2019, and COVID was 2 years later. What I paid for my property and what it's worth now is over double.
You see what I'm saying?
And I live in a market that's not normal.
Right.
I don't live in an appreciating market. I live in a market that stuff pretty much stays stagnant. But because of what happened in the times, obviously we're doing very well here. We're doing
so the reality is that if you had that's why I'm not saying I have beef with Grant Cardone, but when he says don't buy a property, don't own a home, look what you missed out on.
Yeah.
Right. Look what you missed out on if you listen to people like that. Not saying he's not successful and we don't respect him. Just be very clear.
You're coming on a rare occasion though. You can't.
If you listen, there's a lot of rare occasions where
you can't hit it out the park and say everybody hits it out the park.
I'm not saying that, but you know what? There's people that got in early for Amazon. There's people that got in early for Apple. There's people that got in early in those stocks that are blue chip now, right? That people wish they got into. So this stuff happens. Don't ever, and they got to get to the stock market, right? To actually have land that deal, to have been there. Right. So what I'm saying is for real estate, don't let somebody tell you not to own real estate. And then when something like this happens, you're asked out.
I wasn't speaking on the terms of don't get real estate. I was speaking on the terms that you use Grant Cardone. What DT just happened to DT, that really doesn't happen on a regular basis.
What happened to DT happened to a lot of homeowners though.
But he just told you that doesn't happen where he stays at. That's rare for him to have. Well, so I don't want you to say that you missed out.
Let's be clear. That was not a normal. It was a very rare thing.
That's all I'm saying.
But it happened to everybody.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You need to be outside.
Agreed.
So, but if you're listening to somebody like Grant Cardone that says don't own a property, you ain't outside. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not. See, again, I'm not using Greg. I don't care about him.
That was mine.
But when you said
that not everybody's who bought a home prior to COVID is going to fall into that double and triple equity situation scenario.
You're saying that COVID is a rare thing that don't think going into it.
That's because that's fair. That doubled for him.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's why I said if you bought before COVID, that I specifically say if you bought before COVID, right, that you probably have equity in your home.
Yeah.
Now you could utilize a HELOC, right? And that's when he said that his doubled. He bought his in 2019. So yes, and that's a very good point. Not saying that that's going to happen again and again and again. It's rare. It may even be a one-off, right? But what I'm telling you now, if you're listening to this and you figure out how to get into real estate and you've owned your property since 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, before COVID happened, you need to go back and see what your house looks like now as far as the worth, right? See how much it's worth, see how much equity you have in it, and now we can talk real estate. You can pull it out, utilize it.
Yep.
Right? So that goes for home buyers now. So just to be very clear.
For the example that DT used, would I say transportation is a business after 10 years?
Say what?
Your question was what business after 10 years.
Yeah, I said 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Okay, I would use transportation.
What about it?
Transportation, if you do it correctly, after 10 years, you're up.
Is it? Are you up because you made money because you worked? You put that sweat equity into it to get out some money.
Yeah, of course.
Right, because in real estate you're doing both at the same time.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think it's second to none. Right, real estate you're working hard or you're doing what you got to do and you're getting your money out of it. Obviously, that's how you build equity as well. But then you can get that on a line of credit and continue to reuse that. I don't know another business or strategy or mentality that's like and
you can't pull out 200,000 of your business,
right,
and
like
keep re-wash and re-winch. I mean, you can if you keep putting it back, right? But
you make a lot of money in trucking.
It's not a line of credit.
In transportation, I'm sure you make a great income, but whatever you make annually, that's just what you make annually. After 4, 5, 10 years, can you go draw 200, 300, 400% on your initial investment?
No.
On that, I just don't know another one.
Right. That's true. Good point. Guys, you can do a lot with a HELOC, right? You can get your first property. We're talking on maybe a grander scale of someone having 200,000, whatnot, but there's smaller portfolios out there. There's, you can get a multi-family house for your first one. And then if you're scared, right? Check me out, guys.
Hey,
if you're scared,
game.
A lot of people talk about being scared out there, right? Go get your first property, and then you got a HELOC, some HELOC money in the bank that you're not paying any interest on. You haven't withdrew yet. It's just sitting there. So when your scary ass goes, I don't want to buy a property because I have nothing to fall back on. Now you have a HELOC. You have HELOC money that you're not paying any interest on. Was that?
You're aggressive.
No, I might be aggressive on this one.
You gotta fall back.
Be a little aggressive on that. Because I hear that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I have no money to fall back on. What happens if this goes wrong and that goes wrong? Well, now you got some HELOC money.
Yeah.
That's not charging you a dime until you use it. So now you may never have to utilize it. You may never have to use it, right? So you can see that first multifamily works. Or if you got to put 1,000 or 2, you could take a little. Let me take a little bit from here. Let me fix that up, right? Let me get me right without having to break the bank, because you can utilize that. So use it for that. It could be, we're not saying it's got to be grand, right? But it gets your foot in the door. You want to try it out? Let's try it.
If I was
I'm sorry, bring it home right here. Get into just to go over one more time. Go get yourself a multifamily property. Have the HELOC sitting there just in case something goes wrong. Maybe you got to put a couple thousand, maybe you got to touch it a little bit just to make sure it goes right and see if it goes right for you. If not, sell it. If it does, perfect.
Do it again.
What we say?
If it does, do it again, right? If it works, do it again. If I was a viewer.
If it works, do it again.
Right. If I was a viewer, I would want to know, I hear you guys, sounds all great, but have you ever done it?
That's not got my first property.
Oh, yeah.
But so just expound on that. Like, you don't got to go into super detail, but like quickly, like for me, example, I've done it. I've done that before on multiple occasions. I've used a HELOC. When I was younger, like when I first started in real estate, like I moved like 10 times in like 3 years because I was house hacking, flipping. I was doing crazy. So I used every strategy known to mankind when it comes to borrowing money, because I didn't have it. I was broke. I didn't have money, so I had to figure it out. And HELOC was a way that I did very, very well on. But I took HELOC out. I've done it, like I said, several times. One HELOC I did, and I was able to buy 3 properties with the HELOC. Two that I flipped and one that I held. And then I ended up selling that one a couple years later. With the HELOC, I was able to get. I owed like 90,000 on the mortgage that I had, and the property was worth like 170. So I got 80,000 back. I bought 2 flips for I think 20 or 25 a piece, and then I bought a buy and hold for like 30. So I kept the buy and hold. I did the flips, sold the flips, and then like 2 years after that, I sold the buy and hold. So I did very well with that. Then I did another HELOC where I bought 2 flips, and then I was able to get my pool with those. So I mean, that's my personal experience.
Yeah, for sure. I just went straight into it. Got a HELOC, found a property. We started small, ABC, and like I said, we were just learning. We thought we knew, but really we didn't know. There was no H.G.R.G. You know what I'm saying? We learned it up learning with our pockets, and everybody knows that watches us and follows us already, right? How we learn with our pockets. And that's why H.G.R.G is available to you guys. HGRG.club, by the way, HGRG_club at all social media. But that's how we learned. You did it a certain way, we did it a certain way, somehow, some way. It's all real estate, and we end up at home at the home base. Right.
Let me ask you a question. So if I'm getting a HELOC for $200,000, I bought $750,000 worth of real estate. In 10 years, because it's usually an average of 10 years, you're stretching that payment out. Correct? And then after that, is not, if you do not pay it back, it becomes just a loan. It does not come back. It's not a line of credit anymore. So if after the 10 years, so you have up to 20 years to pay for it. After the first 10, if you do not pay it back in the 10, it becomes just a loan. You cannot borrow from it as a line of credit.
Yep.
Right? Do you believe?
No,
go ahead.
Who gives a fuck? You got your properties. You're making your money. Keep paying it. Oh, I can't use it again. No problem. Here, I'm making my money. I'm making $3,000, $4,000 a month off this. Let me pay you back what I need to pay you back, and I'm good.
It's crazy.
I would say don't listen to Lance. Because that line of credit is great for you for the rest of your life.
Don't give nobody because it gives people out and go, oh, what happens after 10 years? If I don't get it after 10 years,
right.
Okay.
Who cares?
That's what I was gonna say. That's why I said I love that mentality that Lance has, because I feel like we all have the tendency when we're talking to people, like, it's only, I say this all, it's only money. It's only money. You'll figure it out, this, that, and the third, in the way we talk sometimes. And I get this regularly. You make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
You make it sound so easy, but it's a mentality. It's experience. We know the good, the bad, the ugly. It's really not bigger than that, right? The suffering from FOMO is the worst shit you can ever do, right? And I'm sure most people have or will go through that, but we're past that stage. Thank God. Way beyond that stage. So when we talk to people, we don't come from that scary, tire kicker, overthinking, the fear of missing out, and just kind of like look at a 50,000, online portals or YouTube channels and just continue just soaking information and never pull the trigger. We don't come from that mentality. We kind of have that Dame Dash mentality with the, I'm a boss, I'm a king, I'm gonna figure this out. And at the end of the day, I want to leave a legacy for my family.
The issue is our culture is counting every cent that they have. And they don't understand that money's gonna come and go, man. It doesn't matter what you do. You could spend your last dollar today, and somehow, somewhere, somebody else is gonna give you some more money. Somebody's gonna get it.
You're gonna get it. It's gonna come back. If you're a hustler, it's gonna come back.
It's gonna come back. Even if you're not a hustler, money is gonna come back to you. Not maybe the number that you spent, but money is just gonna come back to you.
What you mean? You're not a hustler. What do you mean by that?
He's saying somehow, some way.
It doesn't matter if you're a hustler or not. Look, I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I don't want to go off a topic, but a bum out in the streets get money every day. Do you know that? A bum on the street gets money every day.
Okay.
If somebody's giving him money, he's hustling, whatever he's doing, he is spending his money and he's getting money right back. He don't have expenses, but whatever it is. But he's touching money every day.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what we do. Money's going to touch your hand regardless. That's how life is. And in the other culture, they don't even care about that. Money for them is a fucking Monopoly game. For us, we count every cent, every dollar. And now that's the reason why more like is the topic is we do not have to think about it. The HELOC, like Lance has said, who fucking cares? You already got your bag.
We have that mentality. Our culture, we have that walk over dollars to pick up penny mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
It is.
Yeah.
It's so
Well
sad.
put.
It's so
Well
sad.
put.
It's so sad that we have that mentality. You'll literally instead of if you got to pay a bill, right, and you won't go online and pay the bill, you'll go and drive to the facility. No, you'll drive to your bank, you'll go get cash, then go to the whatever the place you got to pay the bill just to say I paid the bill. Or you'll be like, you know what, I have the cash, I'm not going to pay it with cash, I'm going to put it on my credit card, pay the interest on my credit card, and just keep my bank account sounding, look, it's do you understand how you just walked over dollars to pick up a penny?
This is what I'm saying.
That's
That's all I'm saying.
That's why
I want to get back to not being scary part. You know what I'm saying? Like before, just Jerry and I got into it. Obviously we're new, so the people we know around us, we're gonna ask questions. Listen, we're thinking about investing out of state. Millionaires, legitimate millionaires. We spoke to legitimate, and they're like,
were they legit?
huh?
Were
They were legit.
Okay.
They were legitimate. and right away they were like, no,
Absolutely not.
Can't touch it, can't see it, can't control it. Don't do
it. And it's crazy because the ROI for them is like below what we do.
100%. But they think they were secure and
they were so
feel it, control it, see it, touch it. You see what I'm saying? So they want to control it.
Each his own.
And I'm okay with that. But even us, we took that. You would think if a millionaire tells you something, DT, you take heed to it. You listen, right? You listen to it. 9 times out of 10. Now I'm not saying you, DT. I'm saying DT.
Yeah, possible.
Most people are going to listen to a millionaire when they speak because they're there. They're where you want to be.
Yeah,
they are who you want to, who you think you want to be, right? Mm-hmm. So even with that, we still like, fuck it. Fuck it. The math kept mathing.
Yeah,
we just like we feel like fact, how can I said and we sat down. We said when we sent the money, said, listen, this money right here, it's not our money no more. We're gonna throw it in and it's fuck it.
Right.
I'm sorry swearing on this podcast like that, but that's the mindset we had, right?
Just kick us off. Don't worry, Lance. That's fine.
we were just like, this money's we settled, we came to agreement, go, this money's gone. The money's gone. Mm-hmm. So if it's wrong, if it works, it doesn't work out, it does not matter. We're detached from this money right here.
Yeah. And
we move as men, we just move on, right? And we just went in. You know what I'm saying? We had that's the type of conversation you gotta have with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, stop hanging on to your dollar, stop counting every cent. Right? Stop stepping over.
That's actually dope that you guys had that perspective, right? Because I didn't have the same perspective. I didn't have that. This money's gone. It is what I didn't have that. I had all I need to do is get this money or figure out a way for somebody to let me borrow this money because I know this is gonna work.
Right.
I just don't have the money to get it.
Yeah, we came from total opposite.
Yeah, so
that's what I'm saying. Look, it's a perfect example, guys. But it's not scripted.
But that comes down to DT already knowing the market. He already knew it. He knew it in his hands.
Equity. He knew his skills.
He knew it. He knew it. Us, we like, all right, let's go for it.
Yeah, we need everyone around us. Like
we exactly. He's like, yo, just lend me the money. I'll make the money for you. Don't worry about it. Us, we like, we got the money.
Right.
Make it work for us here.
Yeah.
But in real estate, you can't go wrong if you do it right. You can't go wrong. I'm sorry. If you do it right,
things will go wrong, guys.
Yeah,
we're on the internet now, right?
Absolutely,
things will go wrong. Right, but you can't go wrong with real estate. You know what I'm saying? Things will go wrong, but you can't go wrong with real estate.
Well, back to my question.
If you buy a property right, and then when I say buy it right, like you don't.
That's what I say right.
You don't overpay, right? Let's just say you buy something that it's worth $50,000 and you paid 55 or 50, somewhere around that range. Close enough to the real, true equity or the true value of the property. Pardon me. Excuse me, you can't lose in real estate. If you buy close to the value of the property, Worst case scenario,
you get the money back.
sell the property and get the same, because if you paid 50,000 for it, I'm sure somebody else will pay 55 if you bought right.
That's correct.
Somebody else will pay that same 50. So if you take a loss, right? Let's say you take a $5,000, $2,000, $500, $10,000 loss, depending on your financial status in life, right? It's going to be a lot of money for whoever it is, right? But if you think about it, the lessons that you'll learn with that loss, you will never go through again.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you have two eyes and a heartbeat.
And it's so nice how he packaged that up.
Yeah. If you
It's so nice. If you take the $20,000 loss, I promise you,
You're never damn right. The fuck?
let me bring this back full circle though. Let me bring this back full circle to make it make sense, right? And let this sizzle in your spirit. How many people do we know out here that spent 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 200,000 on college that work at Walmart,
or entry-level job,
Depot, you know, like
secretaries,
regular jobs
and debt
that have
all of it
to do with what they majored in and are in super student debt, but they spent 20, 30, whatever the number is on their student loans to go to college, and they're there. It's very similar to going through a real life experience on purchasing a property, taking a $5,000-$10,000 loss, which is not normal, but it happens, you know, for sure. Especially if you're misguided, it could be more than 10,000. But if you do take that loss, to have the mentality to chalk it up to, wow, that was a learning lesson. I would never go through that again. And I paid, like you guys did. You guys paid a very expensive lesson to learn to never this, and it got you to that. You know, that you paid $20,000 and you lost, right? But it allowed you to network, and it changed your life. So essentially, you invested in your education, not knowing, by taking a loss, because
that's 100% true though. Every loss is education. Every loss is a lesson. So yes, 100,000%. Yeah.
So don't spend that money on losses.
We took the loss.
H.G.R.G.
Yeah,
or spend it on yourself.
H.G.R.G will give you both.
H.G.R.G is spending it on yourself.
Yeah, but even if you don't spend on H.G.R.G, if you do, I mean, we'd love to have you. You know, obviously, listen, we batting 1,000 right now. Our success rate is retarded. But if you don't, spend it on yourself with something like, you know, just invest in yourself. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Shoot your shot with something.
Let me ask you a question though. So now, after the 200,000, I bought $750,000 worth of real estate. It's giving me $10,000 a month in return. In 10 years, do you believe? Let's say I spend some of the money. I got 50,000. Do you believe the portfolio would, if you refinance the portfolio 10 years, would that become up? Would that pay the 200,000?
Say that one more time.
So
with the portfolio appreciate enough where you can
appreciate enough. I didn't use appreciate. I didn't use appreciation because I wanted you to pull it out. But yeah, the appreciation was 10 years after, depending the market. Not every market does that.
That would be a variable. It's possible. It's possible.
Is it rare?
It all depends. It depends. I mean,
I wouldn't say it's rare, but I wouldn't say it's like it's not common either, right? And the reason is because we don't know what market we're talking about. It's so vague. It's hard to say.
I need to generalize because it could happen, and I want everybody to understand. It could be an out.
Let's just do
appreciation alone.
Let's use facts, right? So typically, properties appraise 2 to 3% higher annually, right? So in 2 years, that's 30%. Okay.
Correct.
So 30% of a $750,000 purchase is less than your initial 25% down. So in theory, the answer would be yes. But in reality, we know that it don't always work out that way. You know what I'm saying?
But I want you to understand there's options besides you paying for it. You could also go this route, and it can happen. And it happens because certain people do it.
Or I tell you what, it depends on how dedicated you are, right? So you getting your returns, and you just may keep buying real estate with your returns and go, listen, I'm gonna build this until I'm making $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, right? And then before you know it, you're like, all right, I can sit back. I'm in my 7th year. These next 2 years, I'm not touching this money, right? Or a year and a half, I'm not touching money. I'm gonna pay back that HELOC, and I'm scot-free.
Yeah,
I'm scot-free. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what you say before, depending on maybe you built it up. So there's so many variables, right? Because it depends on how dedicated somebody is. You know, you see that we built up our shit quick. That's what got DT's attention. I feel like every other month we were signing for a new property, right?
it's
So
like every week I'm walking to a property for y'all. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Y'all really buying all this? Like, what's going on over there?
So the reality is that, you know, it all depends on the person as well. I mean, how dedicated are they with it? Like, listen, I'm trying to make $40,000-$50,000 a month.
Yeah.
I just watched myself make 10,000 on one move, and now I'm making 10,000 a month. Okay, let me go ahead and I can buy a new property every 2 months.
Yeah.
For the next whenever, you know what I'm saying, for the next year. Now I can buy a property every month after that.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So you don't know how quick they're going to grow. This person may end up in 10 years making $100,000 a month, where they could just take 2 months of that money and go ahead and drop that bag on that HELOC.
You could live a good life with $100K a month.
A little bit. I mean, a little bit for sure. But listen, guys, you know,
That's something light though. That's something light though, bro.
anything else you want to give them? Because listen, we took a HELOC, we took a bag, what you could do with it, how you could perform with it, how we started with our HELOCs, you know, how we, you know, our mindsets with our HELOCs as well. Obviously, we give you the good, the bad, and ugly. A lot of people are not going to tell you after 10, 20 years, depending on the type of HELOC loan you got, that you can't borrow against it anymore, right? Because you didn't pay it all back, and now it's just a loan for you, you know, or the reality is that there's a payment that comes with that, you know, not just go, yo, get a HELOC, get this. But all of a sudden, I watched a video today, actually, it was a short, and he's like, yeah, take this and do that, and you get 50 units, and it's $1,000 unit. Now you're making 100,000, and you take that 100,000, and I'm like, wait, there's no expenses?
They make fun of us.
There's not one fucking expense.
They make so much memes about us mentors. Because there's a lot of retarded mentors out there.
A bunch of knuckleheads out there.
And you buy at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna buy $400 worth of. I'm like, that's
I love that.
Open 7 LLCs and then
yeah, bro.
And then you're gonna put them all in the umbrella as a corporation.
Right?
Then you're gonna buy McDonald's, right? McDonald's in the real estate game, not the burger game.
That's a fact, man.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I see it, but I was watching, I'm like, this dude didn't name one expense. Didn't name one. So when we tell you about a HELOC, we give you the expenses. I thought about where you guys are coming from when now you have a new mortgage. What about that bill? Well, let me address that right here. No worries. You know what I'm saying? You already paid a $650,000 mortgage. No worries, right? So now it's $200,000 more. You know, it went up, but it's nothing that's going to break the bank on you. You see what I'm saying? So don't count the whole 850. Count the 200. Right?
And if you stay this long in this episode, you deserve this gem. We had a person to come to us, a student, and said, okay, you know, I got X amount of dollars for the program, and then after that, I have this much money to invest. It wasn't enough for them to do what they needed to do. So they had a primary residence already. We advised them, I know you came to us looking to get an investment property, but the funds you got aren't going to get you there right now. Not the type of property you're going to do. But listen to this. Your primary residence, if you took that money you got and fixed XYZ, you can get your property reappraised at a higher value, get a home equity loan, and now you got double of what you need to get the investment property.
Right.
That's dope.
You stayed this long, you deserve that gem. Just let that sizzle in your spirit a little something.
That's dope. And if you clicked off this before you heard that gem, that's on you, baby. You know what I'm saying? But listen, guys,
if you click it off, get a loan, not a HELOC. Let me stop.
That was perfect.
I was good. Touche. Listen, guys, we appreciate you, of course. You guys have anything else that you want to tell the people before we get out of here?
I think you said enough. Just, like I said, shoot your shot, be in the game. If you're not in the gym, you're not where you're supposed to be. So being in the gym is being on this this YouTube, this podcast, subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, checking out our website, looking at us on Instagram, just being involved. I promise you, if you're not doing nothing, it's 2023, bro. We 3 months away, 3.5 months away from being in 2024. We have the same 24 hours. What are you doing with yours? Because mine is real.
That's a fact.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you guys this. I know we could glam everything up. We don't. Excuse me, because I'm sick. But I still came on this podcast just to talk and just to be consistent. But we don't always glorify real estate. We give you the bad, the ugly, and the good. We could always give you the good, and you will never learn from our podcast. So this is deep because this is 70 episodes, yeah. 70 episodes in.
Oh, I gotta celebrate. Hold on.
Oh man.
My dad made me agree to look.
This guy is crazy. This is 70 episodes in, and I'm letting you know we still giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're not trying to defer you from real estate. We're not trying to sell you real estate. We're trying to understand, tell you that this would change your life if you get into real estate. That's what I got. Listen,
from our mouths to your ears, man. We'll see you on the next one. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys follow us on HGRG_club on all social media. Make sure you check out HGRG.club as well. And we just dropped the ebook. You can check that out in the description as well, guys. All right.
Free consultations if y'all ready.
Absolutely.
What they say? I'm so divine, imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, imperfection, perfection, my presence shines.